Hi everyone, in this video we are going to look at a brand new, just launched collection by Wet n Wild. As you know, Wet n Wild is a very affordable drugstore brand, and this is their Mega Jelly collection. Now, this is not widely available yet. It should be fairly soon through Ulta.com. It is available right now only through Wet n Wild's website, and I would expect it to be available in stores at your local drugstore where Wet n Wild is sold. The collection consists of some new Mega Jelly eyeshadow pots in 7 different shades, a Mega Jelly highlighter in 1 shade, and a Mega Jelly primer. I'm going to show you all the color products, that means everything except for the primer in this video. We will swatch these, and I will try to use a few of the colors for an eye and face look. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. Hit that red subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. And as always, make sure you see the description box for a link to where you can find these for purchase, as well as a link to Ebates so that if you do buy online, you can at least get some cash back on your order. If you haven't checked out the latest video, that is for Milana's new Satin Matte Lip Creams, the new formula. That's more comfortable to wear. I do lip swatches in that video so you can see all of the colors in that range. That's linked in the upper right hand corner if you want to go check that out. All right, let's look at Wet n Wild's new Mega Jelly collection for 2019. So let's first start with the highlighter. This retails for $7.99. It says in the description, pop the bubbly, hit the lights, get ready to rock the new year in the Wet n Wild's new Mega Jelly highlighter. It is highly pigmented, has a springy gel to powder finish or formula, and has microfine pearl pigments to illuminate your cheeks and brow bones. It's also packed with cucumber and chamomile extracts that's supposed to cool your skin down as the night heats up. It can be used on its own or mixed into foundations, primers, or moisturizers. The highlighter comes in a very big tub. Let's see how much product you get. 30 grams, a full ounce and a little extra. It has a twist off top again. And then on this one, it is foil sealed, which kind of worries me because you're not going to be able to re-close this. So once you open it up, oh, of course it's not going to do it cleanly. Oh no! All right, I got to fiddle with this, but as you can see, you're going to have to peel this layer back. Oh man, this is a mess, and there's product all over the top, so you're going to lose a lot of product at the beginning. So this is what the product looks like. It's like a metallic molten lava or something like that. The shade is called Blaze and Glaze. And I will note that you can smell a slight fragrance. It does have a flower extract, but I don't think that's it. I think the smell that you are going to be able to pick up is a slight cucumber scent. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and apply this or swatch this with my finger. Here is a heavy swatch. Wow, it really is concentrated in pigment and metallic sheen. I didn't pick up a ton of product there. I wonder if you could use this also as an eyeshadow. Okay, so that's just a heavy swatch. You can see that it is a kind of nudie sheen, nudie, very pale champagne kind of sheen. And then picking up just a little more product, I'm going to kind of try to shear it out. Again, I'm going to apply this to the face so we can see kind of how it looks, and I'll try applying it on one side with a brush and the other with my finger. But here is a blended out swatch. You're still getting a really powerful layer of sheen there. Okay, there you go with the color. My fear on this is it might flash a little bit too beigey gray silver on the skin, and with this strength of a pigment on there, that's not going to look flattering on most skin types. You know, if it were this but more translucent, that would be fine, but we'll have to see in the application later in the video how that goes. Moving on to the Mega Jelly Eyeshadow Pots. Now these retail for $4.99, and there are a total of 7 shades that are currently available. The description says, this fun to use and easy to apply gel texture simplifies the complexity of applying glitter shadows with its glide on and set tendencies. The secret here is the infusion of pearl suspension technology that makes this shadow glimmer and glow with multi-dimensional shine and set to a smooth powder-like finish with real staying power. It's supposed to give you an automatic wet kind of look, and the formula is supposed to be crease resistant, long lasting, with true staying power. Again, infused with cucumber extract and chamomile extract. So before I start opening all of these, I just want to show you the plastic clear jar packaging, a twist off lid, and then you have this fully kind of sealed stopper in here to keep the product from drying out that you're gonna have to remove. So this shade is 829 Wedding Season, 830 Champagne Diet, 831 Dirty Martini, 832 Just Rust Me, 833 Code Red, 866 Dethroned, and 887 Something Blue. Alright, it says you can apply these with your fingers or a brush. For swatching purposes, let's just use the fingers, and then in application I'll probably use a combination. So we start with the shade Wedding Season, and this is a kind of deep mauve-y shade with a flash of more purple shimmer and a base that's more browny. Champagne Diet is a kind of bronzy gold. I'm starting off with a slightly thinner layer. You can go back and build it up. Then Dirty Martini is an olive green gold. Just Rust Me. It's not really a rust color. It's like a medium milk chocolate. Code Red is a maroon. Now what's interesting is these two shades, compared to the first three we swatched, they don't have the flakiness in the glitter particles. They more just have a, frankly, more subtle metallic sheen on the finish. And they're a little harder to blend and apply when using a thin layer. I think they'll be fine once we build it up, but not as nice on a thin application as the first three. Dethroned. Ooh, so this is like a royal purple, but again, a different even finish from the first two different types of finishes we see here. Not quite as chunky shimmer like the first three, but a lot more metallic shimmer particles than these middle two here. And then last up we have Something Blue. It's another royal blue shade with a finish that's more similar to the purple color we just did, but the glitter shimmer particles are not as numerous, not nearly as numerous. Okay, so there are kind of more meh thin layer swatches. If you want to see what those are up close, let's go ahead and layer these up to get hopefully nicer, smoother layers of color. All right, let's work backwards since I already have this shade on here. It's nice that these seem to layer well. Hopefully that translates to the eye. Too to an extent. It is kind of picking up the product underneath a little bit. A purple shade. Yeah, it does pick up the underneath layer. My suggestion would be just to make sure you go in with enough product at the outset. This layering thing is a little more tedious to do it this way. Code Red. Right, keep going. I think these middle two shades layer a little more easily. Probably because they don't have as much shimmer to break up the formula. Oh, these layer pretty nicely. Yeah, usually I don't like chunky shimmer particles, but I'm kind of favoring these first three shades, I think. And last with the first. Now you are getting more texture on these, so people with crepey lids, lots of wrinkles. I don't know, some people say people with wrinkles shouldn't wear metallic or shimmer anyway. I don't really think that's true, but with these first three particular shades, because there are these little like lumpies that you can get, that might be good advice for that. Okay, so there are the swatches with a thicker layer of color. And here's what you see up close. I want you to kind of notice the texture that you get. So unfortunately, I think these aren't the smoothest, especially if you're using a more opaque layer of the product. You can see kind of a bumpy surface to them. So keep that in mind. And let's go ahead and see how smudge resistant these are. Oh, yeah, they don't really budge. So in terms of being crease resistant or smudge resistant, you should expect these to hold up pretty well. And you can in feeling the surface of these and the way they've dried down, you can tell that they're really adhering to the skin really well. It does feel kind of dry though, so also keep that in mind for your skin type and the texture and feel you're going to get on that. Okay, I am curious to see what kind of application we get with a brush instead. So I'm going to take this synthetic kabuki style brush, but it's cut on each side. Where did I get this? This is a Sigma 3D HD Precision brush. So I am taking this kind of brush and we're going to do swatches of the same shades in the same order. So wedding season. Now of course it's going to change depending on what kind of brush you're using. Next is Champagne Diet. Dirty Martini. I'm gonna pick up a little more of that. I'm trying to layer it before it dries to avoid lifting the first layer. Just Rust Me. Code Red. Again, I'm going in with a couple layers here before they dry. Dethroned. And Something Blue. I'm sorry if these aren't the neatest swatches. These don't seem to be the easiest to control. On the lids, I'm gonna definitely use a smaller brush, but okay, so more for comparison of application to show you with a brush kind of how the formula moves and applies. But once again, here you go with the finishes and the colors. They do seem to have less texture after the dry down with the brush, so that's definitely an advantage of this kind of application versus finger application. Okay, so let's apply some of these. You guys, I'm tired. It's cold. I'm not in full glam. I just slathered some foundation on my face and barely did my brows, okay? That's what you get for today. Let's go ahead and do some application. Like I showed you in the application for the Huda Beauty Matte and Metal Liquid Eyeshadows, using the correct brush, if you're gonna use a brush, is really, really crucial, I think, to getting these kinds of products to work and apply and blend. If you're gonna blend these, which is a hassle, I already know it's gonna be. But the one that I'm using is by Ray Morris. It's the Cream Shadow Shader Brush 8.5. This is ridiculously expensive. I'm sure there are cheaper versions that you can get, but in my collection, this is the one that I know works best, is most reliable. So this is one that I'm gonna use to show you how this stuff applies. All right, we're going in with the brown shade, Just Rust Me, to see if we can get it in the crease and blend it. Ooh, I'm a little scared. This is not really a great crease shade, but it's the closest we have, and already it's out of control. Oh no, it is not working. I did not pick up a lot of product, so swipe off most of it with my finger. Let's see. And the thing is it dries down pretty quick. So trying to buff it out. Yeah, no, it's not gonna work. Okay, abort mission and reset. I just went in with a fluffy brush, put some crease powder eyeshadow in the crease from MAC, and we are going to concentrate on using these just as lid shades, which honestly, I'm not surprised that these do not work well in the crease. I don't think I've ever really found a formula that comes in a pot like this that works well blending in a crease. They pretty much just work across the lids, patting or applying with a brush. So let's do one eye with a brush, one eye with our fingers. I really like this Dirty Martini shade, so why don't we take a little bit of that. I'm gonna start on the pinky. Use the tiniest bit. That is really pretty. Now again, it's setting quickly, and yet I'm not finished blending and swiping. So let me swipe first before it completely sets. And then let's layer and add after. Okay, actually that turned out better than I thought it would. And for the brush side, I'm using a synthetic brush. It is stained, but it's clean. It doesn't actually have color on it. So it's a flat synthetic brush. And I'm gonna kind of pat and swipe. Looking this way because my mirror's over here. Okay, not as strong of color there, so I'm gonna add more product. I'm gonna layer, ooh. Wow, I love this shade. I think for more preciseness, because I don't have super thin, tiny fingers, I think I slightly prefer the brush side, but I was actually pleasantly surprised on this side using my fingers. On the brush side, you get a stronger color and a little more bold of a finish. This side, the pigmentation's a little more sheer. I'm sure I could build it up again, but the advantage of this side is that even though it's not as bold, you do get more of a blend that you can achieve using your finger. Okay, very quick mascara liner. Again, nothing fancy. I blended a little bit of darker shadow in the outer V very subtly. It's okay. I mean, you can feel the brush going over that dried gel formula when you're doing that. And the other thing is, it does feel a little drying on the lids. It does increase a little bit of texture. I don't think you'll really notice it from afar. I think you'd have to be really looking specifically and up close at someone's eyes to be like, oh, there's a little bit of dryness on your lids. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but here you go. Okay, and now let's see what's gonna happen with this. On one side, I'm going to use my finger, and I'm gonna use the teeniest tiny amount because of what happened in the swatch. Work quickly. Huh, okay. I think if you really use a teeny amount and shear it out really fast, you don't get that noticeable gray cast there. We wanted more of a pow. Can we still avoid that gray looking cast? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so maybe that's not as weird looking as I thought it would be, that compared to no highlighter. And then what I really want to do is use a duo fiber brush like this and see if that applies easily. Dab, dab, dab. Buff, buff, buff. Didn't conceal my pimples. Hopefully they're not too distracting. Yeah, I mean, this is a stronger streak of color, which is funny because usually when you use your finger, you get a stronger streak, and then when you use a duo fiber brush, it's more diffused. But in any case, oh, that's too much. Oh, that's too much. Better work fast. So this is more what I'm talking about. You know, that just really unnatural looking kind of silver streak there. People who are big on Instagram doing those kinds of things, they'll probably love this product, but practically speaking, going outside or even to a night event, I think this will look really weird unless you're buffing it and shearing it out to be something a lot thinner of a layer of color. But there you go. I think using your fingers is better to get a more blended edge there, but you're gonna have to work more to get a stronger pal of color if this is what you want to achieve. All right, so my thoughts after using these and wearing them for a while. I think the colors are very pretty with most of the shades. At the end of the day, it's the kind of thing where you're going to have to be more careful and spend more time and energy to use the product and make it look nice. If that's worth it to you to be able to have these shades, or if you just are attracted to the kind of form factor, then great. This is a great way to get a jelly formula product for a very affordable price, because some of you may remember a few years ago MAC coming out with this kind of formula in their eyeshadows, and of course those are much more expensive. So, you know, you're not going to, even if you don't end up loving these, it's not a huge hit to your wallet. You get a ton of product on that highlighter especially, so you're definitely getting bang for your buck. But, you know, this is not the kind of formula that is easily controlled. It's not easily blended. So you just have to factor that in. On top of that, these are plain old messy. The jar packaging is messy, taking that stopper in and out, finding a place to put the stopper down while you're using the product and then putting the stopper back in. I mean, jelly eyeshadow stuff is all over my hands, on the table. Of course, my experience is more exaggerated because I'm using these 7, 8 products at once, whereas practically speaking, you'll probably only be using them 1 or 2 at a time. But it is still messy and it's kind of more of a hassle to use these. It's something that you need to make sure you store very well. You need to press those stoppers back into the eyeshadow pots in order to keep the product from drying out. and to have a good lifespan, to be able to use them over time. Make sure that you screw the tops on very tightly to, again, ensure that they do not dry out. I have a lot of those, like I mentioned, the MAC versions of these, and most of them are dried out, even though I have kept the tops on tight and the stoppers in them. So they're not going to last you the way that a shadow stick would in a cream form, or of course a powder eyeshadow would. I actually think this jelly highlighter might be best to use rubbing it in with some body lotion and using it like on the legs. I think that would look really beautiful, or even just alone to highlight some points on the collarbones or on the legs. In any case, leave me a comment below. Tell me what you think. Are you excited about this collection? Even knowing the extra effort you got to put in, are you going to buy some of these shades? And if so, which ones? I hope this video is helpful to you if you were curious. If you have a second, please give this video a thumbs up. As always, I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.